Here are tonight's winning Powerball numbers. We will repeat these numbers in a few minutes during Kare 11 News at 10.
A prominent religious leader resigns after getting caught in one of Minnesota's biggest prostitution nets, and that is tonight's top story. Good evening. Kare 11 News has learned a high-ranking member of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America used his church credit card to pay a prostitution service.
He denies paying for sex, but tonight he's resigning from the church. That man is one of hundreds on a list obtained by Kare 11 News. Many of the men and some women allegedly paid for prostitutes using a service in Minneapolis. Authorities arrested and charged the two men who ran that service. Tonight, Kare 11's Mark Daly has more on the list.
A squeaky clean limo service. That's what James Johansson claimed to operate. But prosecutors say Black Tie Limousine and an escort service by the same name advertised in the Yellow Pages were fronts for prostitution.
Clearly in Black Tie, what was going on, it was not only legal escort services, but illegal services as well.
Some customers paid with credit cards. Investigators used receipts to put together this list of customer names. The list includes A.C. Stein, the Human Resources Director for the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America. Stein admits paying an escort $260 on two separate occasions, but he insists the money was for massages, not sex. Pastor Stein publicly resigned from his position as Human Resources Director this afternoon.
I had just moved into the Twin Cities area and was looking for companionship. I was under the impression that it would lead to some kind of sexual activity.
This Twin Cities man is another whose name ended up on that list.
You put at risk everything that you hold dear, whether it be your family, your friends, your reputation. I never thought I'd be found out, and I was.
Among the hundreds of other names on this list are attorneys, doctors, and a couple of professional athletes. But it would be unfair for us to name them right now because prosecutors haven't charged any of them with any crimes. Instead, prosecutors chose to go after Black Tie's ringleaders.
When you look at the big picture, we got the two Mr. Bigs, and a lot of little fish were not prosecuted.
But not all the fish that got away were so little. One customer named Lawrence, for example, visited escorts 49 separate times and spent over $19,000 in less than a year. Mr. Big Number One, James Johansson, pleaded guilty to prostitution-related charges and will spend a year in the workhouse. His partner, Mr. Big Number Two, John Wackels, is set for trial next month. As for those whose names are on the list, for now at least, the only thing guilty about many of them is their conscience.
What I did with those women was wrong. What I did to myself was wrong, and I want to take responsibility for that.
The prosecutors granted immunity to a handful of Johns in order to gather evidence against Black Tie's ringleaders. County Attorney Mike Freeman says it would have been extremely difficult to prosecute any of the other Johns. As for Black Tie, I called just a few hours ago, and the number for the escort service has been disconnected. But the limo company apparently is still going strong. Paul and Di?
All right, Mark. Thank you very much. A Minneapolis man assaulted and robbed in his own apartment may help police solve two murder cases.
Pushed me in the bedroom and started to tie me up.
28-year-old Andre McDonald is charged with committing the attack, and police are investigating him in the unsolved murders of Greg Barnes and Wally London. The victim of the most recent assault says he's lucky to be alive.
I just acted like I was dead, and I heard things being taken from where I live here. And I knew they were stealing things, and I thought, if I just continue to act dead, they might leave.
Police are also looking for a second suspect in that attack. Northwest Airlines says it plans to review its policy concerning children who fly alone.
This after a 6-year-old boy claims he was sexually abused while in the care of Northwest. The airlines put the little boy and a 14-year-old male passenger in the same hotel room last month. That's when bad weather canceled flights at Twin Cities International. Now, Hennepin County prosecutors must decide whether to charge the teen. Kare 11's Boyd Hubert reports.
So when they put him in a hotel, something bad happened to him there.
For Chris Leadham, the news was just confirmation of something he's always believed. Little children should not fly alone.
She's 7, and I just won't let her do it.
Service to Kansas City.
Chris lives in Kansas City. His ex-wife lives in Minot. And whenever daughter Alexis travels from one parent to the other, Dad goes along.
It's terrifying enough, you know, without being alone.
Terrifying does not begin to describe what's alleged to have happened to a 6-year-old boy last month at this hotel in Bloomington. The boy from Michigan was traveling alone. His connecting flight was canceled, and Northwest Airlines had him share a room with a 14-year-old boy who's now accused of sexually assaulting him during the night.
When he was on the plane to his hometown, as he had mentioned something and just started talking to somebody, and it caught their attention, obviously.
Unaccompanied children are hardly an unusual sight on the nation's airlines. Northwest alone flies roughly 10,000 a year, the vast majority of them arriving without incident. But a Detroit TV station recently followed a child cross-country, and in this case showed Delta employees not even asking for identification from the man who picked him up at the airport.
You ready to go? Yep.
That same report gave Northwest high marks. Nonetheless, sources tell us Northwest will review its procedures for unaccompanied children, and Chris Sleedham will stick to his. When his daughter flies, so does he.
Let's go.
Boyd Hooper, Kare 11 News, Bloomington.
Northwest allows children as young as 5 years old to fly unaccompanied. However, parents pay an extra fee for the service.
Minnesotans could get a monetary present from the state, but don't start counting your pennies just yet. Tomorrow, Governor Carlson will announce a state surplus of nearly $2 billion. Of that money, he wants to give $700 million back to Minnesotans in the form of a one-time income tax refund. But DFL legislators have another plan for the cash. They want to overhaul the state's property tax system, which could cost up to $400 million a year. State troopers arrested more than 30 welfare protesters at the caged at Camp in the Rotunda and plan to stay all night. That is until the police arrive. They'll be charged with trespassing, disorderly conduct, and unlawful assembly. Palms were sweating and hearts were pounding tonight as the Minnesota Gophers went for their first Big Ten title in 15 years.
With less than 3 seconds on the clock, Minnesota sunk a foul shot and clinched the championship. Tonight we have a team report on Gopher Mania. Kare 11's Melissa Young has reaction from U of M students, but we begin with Randy Shaver live in Ann Arbor. Randy?
Well, Diana, the Gophers win the Big Ten championship for the first time in 15 years. 1982 was the last time they won in this building. It was a dramatic win. It wasn't pretty at times, but they win at 55-54 tonight. Bobby Jackson hit a baseline jumper to tie the ball game at 54. And then Eric Harris with the steal, and then Bobby Jackson is fouled with 2.9 seconds left. It set up a 1-and-1 for Bobby, and he hit the front end but missed the second. And then Michigan missed their shot, and that was the ball game. The celebration was on at center court tonight. The Gophers, Big Ten champions, lots of hugs and tears and congratulations, and they did cut down one of the nets here at Chrysler Arena. Clem Haskins cutting the final string as the Gophers win the Big Ten title here tonight. We'll have lots of reaction coming up in sports as we'll hear from Clem and John Thomas and Sam and all of the heroes tonight. Again, it wasn't pretty, but a lot of the games down the stretch weren't pretty this year. Gophers winning tonight 55-54. They're the Big Ten champions. More coming up in sports.
You know, I heard Jim Dutcher on the cable cast, and he said that's about as loud as he's ever heard that place. It was during that game tonight.
It was an exciting basketball game. Give Michigan credit. They played tough down the stretch, but Clem and his seniors find a way to pull these things out, and tonight experience paid off again. They win a close one.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Randy, very much.
All right.
Well, our team report continues now with Kare 11's Melissa Young live in Minneapolis.
Celebrating all over campus tonight. They've been waiting a long time, basketball fans here at the Gopher campus have been waiting for this, and now they're savoring that victory.
At Territorial Hall, the allegiance is clear. Every basket feels like victory. Every misstep, a tragedy.
It's going to be tough, because Michigan's a tough place to play. You know, to come home for Indiana on Saturday, and with the Big Ten championship already under their belts, this would be nice, especially going into the tournament.
The Gophers have ignited this chilly campus, making everyone believe.
Everybody's pretty pumped up, everybody. It's like the game and the team.
They're packing rec rooms and bars with dreams of Big Ten titles and national glory. Now they've captured one and are ready for the next step.
It's going down. The Gophers, Final Four, baby! Yeah!
So they are celebrating at Sally's tonight. Elite 27 will be playing a set here, and what do you guys think?
That guy in front.
Yeah.
That guy right there in front. There he is. He'll be proud when he sees the replay of that. It's time for us to take a break, but straight ahead it looks like our semi-spring weather is about to fly south. Ken has the latest.
Plus, what goes up must come down, even if it is a beer can, and we'll explain.
Next in the extra, cruising the high seas for 6 months for several Minnesotans. It's no vacation. It's a high-stakes mission aimed at keeping the peace.
The Twin Cities #1 rated newscast with Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Ken Barlow, and Randy Shaver. You're watching Kare 11 News.
Start sounds like a swarm of hornets. The first turn is do or die. What's ahead is nothing short of insane. The ultimate adrenaline rush. AMA Supercross, brought to you by Subway. Live it in the dreaded zone. Just $10 for adults, and kids' seats are just $5. AMA Supercross. One high-flying night with the best riders in the world. March 15th, the Metrodome. Come take the ride.
Feel that chill racing down your spine? Your spinal column controls over 6 million nerves. Be prepared to feel every single one. Feel the Trilogy.
It's considered one of the stars of the Navy. Tonight, we're taking you aboard the aircraft carrier USS Constellation. In tonight's extra, several Minnesotans are about to embark on an overseas journey that is all work and no play.
They'll be at sea for 6 long months, learning how to deter and defend in times of crisis. Tonight, Kare 11's Melissa Young goes on board the Constellation to see how the crew members live and what's ahead for the changing Navy.
This is the Navy elite. Top guns flying off the USS Constellation. One of 11 U.S. aircraft carriers cruising the waters of the world.
This is Tanker, the port catwalk, recovered aircraft, recovered aircraft.
The USS Constellation is like a giant floating airport. 5,000 people work here, 115 takeoffs and landings today. And when a plane's coming in like this one is here behind me, it's going 140 miles an hour.
Some say it's the challenging flying in the world. Landing a jet on a strip just 300 feet long with only a 10-foot margin of error on the center line. Challenging and dangerous on the flight deck.
It's very dangerous, very dangerous. I've even heard that Lloyd's of London, who will insure anything, won't insure people up here because it's too dangerous. The most hazardous workplace on Earth.
They're mostly young, many about to deploy for the first time, 6 months away from home and family. That's when a shared home state can mean more than geography.
It's a great bonding experience. We have people to watch the Vikings games with, and cheering for the Gophers now, #2.
Yeah, #2.
We're keeping track.
They share that and the rush that comes from the roar of the engine and the sway of the sea.
It's a lot of fun. The flying aspect is fun. Living on the ship is something you just get used to.
I'm the on-scene leader for Repair Locker 3.
Ed Hauk has had 16 years to get acclimated. 16 years of narrow halls and tight quarters.
We're having fun now.
Far from the glory on the flight deck, Hauk still feels the rush of adrenaline when the battle's on.
We went to general quarters about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we had to get all 8 boilers up to full power to get enough wind across our deck just to get the planes off the ground.
That was during a bombing raid on Libya. Hauk says he came to the Navy in need of work. What he found is a job he loves.
I can't say enough of everybody in their job. They all turn to and when it's called on them, and they do their best.
These are the people that keep this mobile city afloat.
look under the records for Ensinger.
People like Brett Wagner, who runs the equivalent of a large hotel.
I got up for late Sunday night. No, it's not the glory job, but I take care of everyone. I'm their mom. I wash their clothes, I clean their room, I make sure they're fed. That's my job. Ensinger, did he pay?
Like any good concierge, Wagner says it's the little extras that make the difference.
Their frappuccino, latte, mochas, and of course our ice cream machine, known as a dog machine. It's like DQ.
Which is not to say this is an easy life. Some find it's not what they want after all.
It's not a game, it is real life. You don't win a trophy at the end of it. You don't get an extra paycheck. If you don't do it well and you don't practice and you don't learn your trade, you may suffer the ultimate sacrifice. If you do, the best you get is survival.
Survival is not a concern for the military. Size and strength are. Plans call for close to 30,000 naval sailors and officers to be right-sized out of the service in the coming years, including some of the Minnesotans.
In the way things are going for cutbacks, you have to consolidate more with the other services and make things work.
That's already happening, but the costs remain high. $1 million a day for a carrier out to sea. Supporters say it's cheap insurance for politicians and diplomats. A fleet far from home, standing at the ready. Melissa Young, Kare 11 News, aboard the USS Constellation.
In a few weeks, the Constellation will start heading across the Pacific toward the Persian Gulf. After the 6-month deployment, the ship is heading for dry dock to be refitted for more female crew members.
Time now to head out to the backyard. Mr. Barlow's already out there with some guests.
Yes, I'm out here with some guests. Go ahead and pull out, Paj. Let's get a big shot here. We've got a whole bunch of people here. See that? Fooled you again. With me are the folks from the Fish Fair. This is on Saturday, March the 8th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's the 7th annual Fish Fair, family fishing fun and information, especially for kids. There are games, exhibits, seminars, door prizes, and all kids under 17 and under will receive free fishing tackle provided by Holiday Sports, Burger Brothers, and Friendly Chevrolet. You want to get all the sponsors in. Renting the facilities at Crystal Free Church in New Hope. Tickets at the door. Net proceeds will provide scholarships for single-parent kids from Kinship of Greater Minneapolis and Urban Venture to attend GEM Fishing Camp. And there's the information, or it was, on the screen. Did I get it all, everybody? Yes, sir. All right. Well, I'm going to do the weather now. Let's get on with this thing. We've got a lot to talk about. As a matter of fact, thank you, folks, for coming out. Careful walking on the ice there. 33 degrees, the high temperature today. The low this morning, 26. Oh, this is an adventure. The average is 31 and 14. There has been a trace of some flurries, and in fact, we're getting a couple of them out here right now. All over the state, it is a very mild evening. The fishing rods bring back some nice memories of the summertime, doesn't it? It won't be long now because the warm air is going to stick around. Temperatures are much cooler to the northwest. Thief River is 10, Bemidji is 12, Detroit Lakes is 9. There is some snow on the map. It's down over Iowa. This batch, the steady stuff, is not coming here. This is the storm that I expected to stay south. It is doing that. It's a well-behaved storm. But what's coming is what's interesting. There's a big storm now developing. See all this white out here? This is Pacific moisture. The thing about it is it's coming to us, but it's also going to bring some Pacific warmth. It's going to bring warm air on Friday, so I think there could even be a mix of snow and rain at the onset of this storm that we've been talking about for the past 2 days. And then ultimately what will happen is the storm itself will track right over Minnesota, and as it does that, colder air will come in and everything will change then over to some snow. And I think several inches of it are likely now for the day on Saturday. So we're looking at a mix on Friday, and then all snow by late Friday night and Saturday. Once again, whether it'll be a blockbuster, we don't know that yet, but do expect some snow here during that time, especially overnight Friday and Saturday. The snow now is down to the south of us. The steady stuff is there to stay. We'll be back with our forecast in a minute. We'll take a peek ahead to that important weekend in just a minute.
Did you hear that Fargo's up for the Oscars? Don't say. Did you hear February is double steak month at George Carvel's Glass Service Company? Double steaks?
Call now and receive 2 boxes of steaks when Glass Service replaces your auto glass.
Helen, we're dairy cows.
The reason I called Milovitz, Gallup and Milovitz was my daughter had referred me to them. She had them for an accident herself about a year before, and she was real pleased with her outcome.
Milovitz, Gallup, and Milovitz. Call 533-1111.
I would definitely refer all my friends and relatives, anyone, to Milovitz, Gallup, and Milovitz. If they ever need anyone, Milovitz, Gallup, and Milovitz is the one that they should call.
What's important to you when choosing an auto glass replacement company? Quality and job is done right.
Good things come in twos. It's double steak month at Glass Service Company.
Welcome this time, but by the weekend we'll have our own to deal with. Here's the forecast overnight. Again, a couple of harmless flurries. Temperatures by morning dropping down to the mid-20s. Tomorrow, look for a lot of clouds when you wake up. There'll also be a few flurries, then some partial clearing. A lot like today, actually. There'll be a few hours of sun, temperatures in the 20s. And then here we go. We'll have to watch Friday. It looks like, for the most part, a mix of rain and snow in 34. And then by Saturday, it should all change over to occasional snow, and at this point, at least a couple of inches. And we'll, of course, keep you updated first thing in the morning on First Edition and Kare 11 Sunrise, and then again back here, 5, 6, and 10. That's it.
All right. Thank you very much, Ken.
Okay.
Coming up in sports, we'll go back to Ann Arbor and Randy Shaver.
And if you have a baseball itch, we've got the scratch, not only the Gophers, but some other Big Ten games as well.
And let's not forget the Wolves. They took on the Spurs tonight in San Antonio. Sports is next.
But hits it nonetheless. Great shot by Kevin Garnett.
March 15th, the challenge, the Metrodome. March 15th, the guts, the best riders in the world. March 15th, the glory. AMA Supercross brought to you by Subway. Heart-stopping, adrenaline-pumping, bone-crushing excitement. Emick, Lamson, Henry, Albertine, Lusk, and the four-time champ, Jeremy McGrath. All on the toughest track ever. This is extreme. This is Supercross.
Television news investigations generate a lot of heat. Kare 11s tend to generate fire. It's one element that's never in short supply at Kare 11 News. And Rick Capcella's reports burn brightly years after they air. If an investigative report can teach, inform, or help one person get out alive, we call it a success, which is another name for the news. Handled with care. Kare 11 News.
Let's head back to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Randy Shaver's there. We're live again with us. How are you?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm doing fine. What a great finish. You know, a lot of these games down the stretch here for the Gophers have ended like this. You got to win your close games if you want to win the title, if you want to be a #1 seed, if you want to advance in the NCAAs, and the Gophers continue to do that. They shot 56% from the field in the second half, and they win here tonight, 55-54 over Michigan, the first Big Ten championship in 15 years, and congratulations to them. We got some highlights for you tonight and lots of reaction from the game. The Gophers trailed 17-6. They battled back on a 14-0 run. Sam three-pointer then was fouled in the play. That made it 20-17. Michigan on defense, big block by Baston, and then they go on the fast break. Hughes will finish it off, and it was 29-22 Michigan. They led by 6 at the break. Second half, John Thomas inside. Huge slam, but the Gophers still trailed by 1. Mascio Baston had 4 big offensive putbacks. Michigan leading at this point 42-35, but the Gophers continue to battle back. Eric Harris split 2 defenders. He's fouled on the play. The Gophers down by a point, 47-46. Trailing by 2, Bobby Jackson. Big baseline jumper. This tied the game at 54. And then a scramble. Eric Harris the steal. With time running down, feeds Bobby, who is fouled with 2.9 seconds left. Jackson with the front end of the 1-and-1. Hit the first one to make it 55-54. He missed the second one. Michigan had one last chance to win it, and it comes up short. The final tonight was 55-54. Clem Haskins cuts down the final string of the net here in Ann Arbor as the Gophers claim the Big Ten championship tonight. And I had a chance at center court to talk to the Big Ten champs. Put it into words how this feels right now.
I can't put it into words. I'm just happy for so many people, my team, #1, and the University of Minnesota, give me the opportunity to stay around long enough to enjoy this. And believe me, tomorrow this team's going to take off. We got a big game on Saturday against Indiana, but it's one time we're going to celebrate because, you know, old good saying is you can't worry about the future, but you got to enjoy today. We're going to enjoy this, but we're going to enjoy it tomorrow. But we know we got Indiana's a tough game Saturday afternoon at 3:30, but we're going to taste this victory. This is one time, it's been a long time coming, but it tastes good. and I'm so happy for the University of Minnesota and this basketball program.
How does it feel to be Big Ten champ?
Feels great, man. This is what we strive for all season. One of our goals, and now it's accomplished. It's feeling great. You know, it wasn't a pretty game, but we're prepared for coming down close ball games, and we won this one just like the other close games.
So there you are at the free throw line, 2.9 seconds left. It's been 15 years since they've won the Big Ten title. What goes through your mind?
I was scared, I know it was all on my shoulders to hit those free throws. I didn't want to go into overtime because I was pretty much drained.
What does it mean to win the Big Ten title?
It means a lot. The coaching staff really pushed me hard. I've been up and down in my career, but, I really tried. It's all credit to my team. We wouldn't have got here without the team. Everyone's stuck together, everyone's pulling together. It's great to win in Michigan. I also like to say hello to my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my whole family, 37th Street, J. West. What's up, everybody? We bring the Big Ten championship back to Minneapolis, baby.
Congratulations to the Gophers. We want to mention the Timberwolves win tonight. Tom Gugliotta with 29 points. The Wolves win in San Antonio 108-89. They're now 28-27, the first time in team history. They're over 500 this late in the year. Gophers arrive at the Humphrey Terminal 11:45 if you want to go out and meet them. That's it from Chrysler Arena. Back to you guys.
All right, Randy. Thank you very much. Fun game. Still ahead, a beer can takes an incredible journey by balloon.
But first, nice winning lottery numbers.
Just for Feet has the best deals of the year on cleats. Just can't beat the cleats. Soccer, baseball.
Saturday night's broadcast schedule is brought to you in part by Merchant Gould Smith Edel Welter.
From viewers.